Hi again, fans. Welcome to another action-packed, exciting hour of the Smoky Mountain Rewatch Along Project. This is podcasting the way it used to be and the way you like it. This show is a production of the Something Else Podcasting Network, and it is episode number 125 of Smoky Mountain Wrestling from June 18th, 1994, taped June 7th, 1994, from the Loudon High School in Loudon, Tennessee. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, is the Rudo to my Technico. It's Trae. Trae, how the hell you doing today?
Am I a rudo because I called my computer mouse a motherfucker 6 times while we were trying to start the show?
Pretty much. Well, I guess it really should have been me as the Rudo because the Rudo leads, and I'm the leader of this show, for better or worse.
I am definitely the ruder one, though. I accept that about myself.
Well, it's good to accept things about ourselves, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, you probably didn't notice anything, but out of curiosity, did you notice anything new about our intro?
No.
There's a good reason why you probably didn't, but we have a new I don't know. We have a new addition to the Something Else Podcasting Network. I went ahead and got ourselves a drop board.
Oh, all right. Finally.
Yes. And even though that's the exact same first 30 seconds that are actually on this episode, it is clipped and it is the official intro for this podcast now.
Okay. Okay. We need a drop for I Am Stooge, and we need a drop for What Do I Look Like, a Bum Seeker?
Ollie, I have an idea. How about we get Kali to go undercover in the guys' locker room and find out who the secret admirer is?
Wait a minute, undercover.
Like, go in the guys' locker room and find out who the secret admirer
I'm
is.
Stooge?
No.
Yeah, I don't have what do I look like to you, Risa Bum Seeker?
And we also
Uh-oh.
need Bill Rathke going, can y'all go outside? I'm trying to take a shower.
Well, I don't have that yet. I do have the less remembered follow-up to I'm Stooge.
Rey Mysterio. Bootyga, 619. Bootyga, 619. That's me, baby. You thought he was Rey Mysterio?
No, I thought you were totally Rey Mysterio. You look just like Rey Mysterio.
That was when that was when Khali. See, even I'm mixing up. That was when Khali showed up wearing a Rey Mysterio mask.
Sleeveless, little bike at the high.
Yes. That's going to be a fun addition, and we'll play a little bit more as we go. But yeah, so Smoky Mountain Wrestling episode number 125. We are officially 5/8 of the way through this show.
And by the way, if I just called somebody a slur in Punjab just then, I apologize.
That's why people are listening to the show all of a sudden because we're unknowingly insulting people in other languages. Oh God. So I hear I can't convince you to take a match with a strong Kobayashi in his prime.
I don't think he's in his prime anymore.
Probably not. Is he even still alive?
No, he died 2 or 3 years ago.
I think that's one you actually knew. We're constantly looking up whether or not people are still alive, but you knew that strong Kobayashi was no longer with us.
No, because I remember. I think I specifically remember they put some stuff on New Japan World, and I watched like a match he had with Inoki back in the 70s.
Well, I'll give you that one. All right. So we are officially on the road to both Summer Blast and also Night of the Legends. But let's dive in here with the intro of this week's show. It's the first show of a new taping, first of 4 episodes taped in front of 400 people here in Loudon. Let's go to Bob and Les to kick off this week's show.
Hour of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, professional wrestling the way it used to be and the way you like it. Hi, wrestling fans. I'm Bob Cottle, along with Les Thatcher. And Les, another great hour in store for all the wrestling fans this week.
Absolutely, Bob. Of course, in action, we've got the Thrillseekers today. Jake the Snake's in the building, and he'll be in that ring. And, of course, we've got a Night of the Legends update coming as well.
Right, you are. And also we're going to hear from Terry Funk and the Dirty White Boy. And we're going to have our Beat the Champ match. We got to draw a challenger for that.
That's right. Kendo The Samurai is the TV champion. Let's see who we can get here.
All right, Les, you did a good job on that.
Oh,
anyway.
Tracy Smothers against Kendo The Samurai for the big TV title match. That's the main event any place.
Main event you are. You're right there, Les. And we got several of them during this hour, fans. We're ready with the action. Right now, let's go to the ring.
Do you think Les is above taking a $200 bribe for the Beat the Champ?
I wouldn't be.
Well, you're not a fine young Christian athlete like Les Thatcher.
Do you think that Tracy Smothers would bribe somebody?
I mean, I think it's suspicious that one of his good friends is Bob Caudle, who's one of the people that oversees the Beat the Champ drawing every week.
I bet if Tracy Smothers did try to bribe Les Thatcher, he would do it with Confederate currency, Chris Hamrick.
I thought he would bribe him just by being a very polite young man.
If you bribe somebody with politeness, isn't that just like being likable and making people want to help you?
People might think you're a kiss ass. That you're sucking up there to Bob Caudle to try to get favors. So when we came up, as we go to the Bob Caudle intro, there were two schmoes in the ring. And with Brian Matthews and Mark Curtis were actually Chris Hamrick and El Hijo del Santo. We haven't seen in a little while.
I know.
But they were also. I'm sorry,
what? We haven't seen him in long enough. I'm like, okay, that's Chris Hamrick, and who the fuck is that? But then I finally I recognized the pattern on the tights, and then I saw the LS, and then I saw his face, and put together that it was El Hijo del Santo.
Yes. And this week they took on the fine young Canadian athletes who are dynamite in the ring, the Thrillseekers. If Jericho goes back to WWE, if they announce on TV one week that these two are Raw in the ring, then it's like, that they're using the temporal ham radio to listen to the show.
Maybe they could be Collision in the ring.
There you go. There'll be quite the rampage. So during this match, Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn, they are the team of Well Done, joined the broadcast table. And rudely of them, by the way, because they interrupted Bob and Les when they were going to tell us the difference between Canadian wrestling and American wrestling. And we never got back on topic. So I don't know what the differences are between Canadian wrestling and American wrestling, Trae.
I need Bob Caudle to explain to me in great detail exactly how Canadian and American wrestling are different.
I don't know. But Jericho stole Savio Vega's finish, the spinning heel kick. But because Chris Jericho is not as good as Quang, it was not enough for the finish. Jericho, for the first time on this show, Jericho broke out the lion salt. And, I'm sure he'd done this move before. I know he talked about in his book about practicing this move. It's like there was no real setup to this. There was no real, hey, look what I did. He did a lion salt and immediately stood up and tagged out. It was like, they obviously have a lot to learn here, both him and Lance. And
yes.
Then they,
I would imagine Cornette and what the fuck did you do that for then? Not that it was wrong to do it, but who was it that was it Candido that came in and did some kind of crazy spot? And Cornette was like, "That's great. Don't do it again until I tell you to."
No, I think it was Jericho, because Jericho did the bump that he takes at Night of the Legends.
Yeah, you're right.
But Candido came in and was doing all the big flying dives, and no one had any fucking idea what the hell he was doing.
He's called. I hadn't thought about it in a while, but now that you mentioned that, he's calmed down. He learned how to work Southern style.
Yep. Turns out working with Tracy Smothers and Tim Horner and Bobby Blaze will teach you Southern style.
Yeah, he's still great. Like he's great at. I believe like Chris Candido would have been great at whatever he did. But yeah.
Yes. By the way, in case you're curious, the Thrillseekers did win this match. Lance pinned Hamrick after a double team where Jericho gave Hamrick a standing suplex, and Lance came off the top with a springboard crossbody.
Yes, that was indeed the finish.
Yep. I mean, it's a lot of these Thrillseekers matches. They do a lot of moves. They're going a mile a minute, and it doesn't sound right. Like when you tell you, oh yeah, the Thrillseekers were here, Chris Jericho and Lance Storm, and it's like they're very green, and it's like you kind of know, okay, they had to be green at some point, but you're like, oh man, not Chris Jericho and Lance Storm. Yeah, Chris Jericho and Lance Storm were green once upon a time too. Let's go to Bob Caudle, who is allegedly with the Thrillseekers, but well done. Just they interrupted the announcing, and now they're going to interrupt the interviews.
Thrillseekers, after that great win in there, but well done, still out here. You just and tagging the what it was.
You boys are still out here. We've been talking to the fans at Smoky Mountain Wrestling. They're sick of your complaining too. We're fed up with it, and the fans are fed up with it.
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't
think so.
No.
Shut up.
You guys are coming up with all these excuses why you're losing a few matches, saying we're cheating, doing all this stuff. Well, Chris and I sat down together, and we come up with an idea to settle this cheating problem of your guys. It was Chris's idea, so I'm going to let Chris tell you about it.
All right,
That's
Chris,
why thanks a lot. Okay, Bob, let me tell you something. As a lot of people know, my father played 10 years for the New York Rangers.
Hey, wait a minute. We ain't talking about baseball here. That's hockey.
Yeah, that's it. We ain't talking about baseball anymore. You guys are showing off your intelligence every time you open your mouth, so be quiet and let us talk. Now, in the game of hockey, if you make a mistake and if they get you in a penalty, you get put in the penalty box if you break the rules. Now, my proposition and Lance's proposition is to have the first in the all-professional wrestling penalty box matches. We're going to bring this across to the commissioner, Bob Armstrong, and what we want is if the Well Done breaks the rules or if the Thrillseekers break a rule, you get 2 minutes in the penalty box outside the ring.
Wait a minute. What you're trying to tell me? Hey, shut up. What you're trying to say is if one of you two Thrillseekers breaks the rule, and you will, then that means there's only going to be one Thrillseeker
in the ring with Well Done.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what we're saying. But if one of you guys break the rules, it's 2 Thrillseekers against 1 of Well Done.
What do you think about that?
What we want to do is start these matches on the Summer Blast Tour coming up in July. So if you guys want to put your money where your mouth is and step into the ring in the penalty box match against the Thrillseekers, then that is what we want from you.
Yes! You guys are the cheaters. We'll take that match. We'll do it. We'll take it. We'll do it.
All right, fans, they say they'll do it. Summer Blast, it's going to be something. We'll be right back. Let's take this time out.
Chris talks about this in his first book. Actually, this promo, this was not the greatest promo that they've ever cut. No. Between Jericho talking about the Well Done and just he explained the match, and I mean, this is not a first time ever. We saw it on World Class a couple times, but it's like, he explained the match well enough, but at the same time, I imagine there was some confusion, and I'm going to bet it never gets explained what happens if both members of a team break the rules and are in the penalty box.
Do they get counted out, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I'd assume so. And also, like, I think a penalty box match is more of a judgment on the referees than anything else. Because look at the penalty box matches, people are being sent to the penalty box constantly. But like, how often do you get a disqualification in a match due to a simple rules violation? I think Mark Curtis needs to be taken to the Smoky Mountain Board of Directors and have to explain to Mark Curtis why Mark Curtis is allowing these rules infractions.
Well, it's part of the contract that these are also extreme enforcement of the rules matches.
Does that mean that Well Done have to have their faces on the asses of their tights?
Is that one of the rules?
I mean, that's what Matt Striker did during the only other extreme enforcement of the rules match I've seen.
Yeah, but these were before that, so that's not part of those. That was just his flourish.
I thought that was a rule. Okay.
No.
All right. All right. So remember last week when the Rock and Roll Express dumped manure over the head of poor young Tammy Fitch?
I do remember
Tammy
that.
Also, yeah, all Tammy's doing is like she's out here managing her team, trying to be a good northern girl, in the South here, trying to help us out with teaching us manners and the proper way to bathe and all that stuff. And here comes the Rock and Roll Express to dump manure on her head. Well, Ricky and Robert felt bad, and that's understandable because Ricky and Robert, they're very nice guys. They're good young men. You want to take them home to meet your parents, kind of thing. They may sleep with your mom, but you want to take them home to meet your parents. And so Ricky and Robert are very forgiving here, or very apologetic, excuse me. And they have a gift for Miss Tammy Fitch.
We are with the rock and roll, Rick. I hope this is for me. That's got to be a TV or something. That looks like a nice present.
Well, Bob, all week long, Robert and I have been thinking about what we done to Tammy Fitch last week, pulling that dump over her head, and that's not a way to treat a lady, because, everybody knows she is the first lady of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Right. So, Tammy, this is a present for you to make up for what happened. And I know that right now you probably don't want to come out here and accept it because of what happened last week, but we're going to leave it here for you, and if you want to accept it, come on back. And we'll see what she says, Bob, okay?
All right, now. All right, I tell you what, fans. Right now, let's go back to last week. Let's take a look and see what happened.
So,
that's so nice of Ricky and Robert. They felt bad, for what they did last week. And now here they are to make up to Tammy for doing that. They brought her a gift.
Very, very, very kind of them. Very generous.
Yes.
It's good to see people see the error of their ways.
Yeah. Now, of course, it's rude to have shown what happened to Tammy Fitch, but at the same time, new viewers may not understand why the Rock and Roll Express are being so apologetic and bringing her out a gift. So they did have to show the replay of last week. It's understandable, but a good gift will, take care of that. I'm sure Tammy will be okay with them replaying, especially if she gets a really nice gift. Like you heard, it's a big box. Yeah, it must be a TV or something.
Yeah.
Now, in all seriousness, before we press play, did you have any idea what this was about to be?
No.
I had zero clue. Like I was like, like we've done the present thing a couple times, and it's like I didn't know what on earth we were going to go to. But Tammy is out with Chris Candido and the Underfaker, and to open up her gift.
All right, yeah, I tell you, she came out to get it. Here's Miss Tammy Fitch, Primetime Brian Lee, Chris Candido. You look like you're excited about it.
Yes, I am excited. Look, I have a present. Now, if I like anything in this world, it's presents. So all I know is the Rock and Roll Express must have come to their senses. They must have realized how much they actually do love me. They must have realized what a wonderful girl I really am. Oh my God, it kind of looks like a TV or something, doesn't it? Or like a microwave.
Looks like
oh, I'm so excited.
You don't know what it is.
Well,
you know what they did last time.
Well, it's not moving.
is it ticking?
What? I don't hear anything, so I think I'd be okay. Oh, I'm so excited. Can I open it? Can I open it?
You open it? Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take off the bow first.
All right. Oh, wait a minute. Bambi. What a surprise here. Bambi right out of the box. And she got Tammy Fitch here coming to rock and roll. There go Brian Lee. There go Chris Candido. There goes Tammy Fitch. My gosh.
All right.
Whoa.
All right, look at here, baby.
You almost gave me a heart attack.
For everybody that don't know who Bambi is, she is one of the top lady wrestlers in the world today. And it seems like every time that we wrestle Chris Candido and Brian Lee, Tammy Fitch always sticks her nose in the ring. Because everybody knows that we can beat them. Well, Tammy, if you want to get in the ring so bad, well, you got it done now. Because you see, we got Bambi in our corner, and we're going to have ourselves a 6-person tag team match with you in the ring at Summer Blast.
All right. Hey, I'm going to try to get my composure back.
So Bambi explodes out of the box, and it's Bambi the wrestler, not the deer, in case, somehow you're confused by this. But she explodes out of the box, but her back's to the camera, and I'm like, that's not White Girl, is it? You're not bringing her back for this.
I thought the exact same thing.
Oh, Lord. Poor Tammy. What the hell? Who the hell keeps booking her in matches?
Like, if somebody pops out of a box, they're automatically over.
Well, Bambi was over. And I mean, we haven't seen too many people. I guess she's the first person to pop out of a box, because Arn Anderson came out from under a sheet. But, yeah, that's the easiest, quickest way to get somebody over, is to have them pop out of a box. Look at Chainsaw Charlie.
Indeed.
And I joked calling Primetime Brian Lee the Underfaker. We talked about it. He's got the dyed black hair. He's got the beard. He is the Underfaker right now, playing the role of Primetime Brian Lee on Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Yes.
Poor bastard. I don't know who I feel worse for, him or Jim Cornette.
Well,
I mean, I guess you could say Brian Lee's getting his big break, but he's getting his big break as a doppelganger.
Well, it is. You know what? That's the biggest break he's ever going to have.
Well, he becomes a member of the Disciples of Apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly.
And hey, when Crush leaves, he's the leader of the Disciples of Apocalypse for like 2 months.
Really?
I mean, he's part of DOA for like a couple months until 8-Ball and Skull turn heel, and then he just disappears. Not that a whole lot of people were missing him, of course, but
wait, they were baby faces before?
I mean, yeah. They feuded with Los Boricuas, who were heels, and the Nation were heels. And at Survivor Series, they took on the Truth Commission, and they were the heels.
I'm given that breakdown, I'm surprised that the Truth Commission weren't baby faces.
You think they could have had like an 8-on-8 gang rivalry? The white guys from this country, the white guys from South Africa versus the black guys and the Hispanics?
That was I haven't seen a lot of the 97 stuff other than like clips and stuff.
Well, it was very much, hey, we got 5 black guys, let's put them together. Hey, we got 5 Hispanics, let's put them together.
Yeah.
So Vince Russo loves his impersonation gimmicks. He did that a lot in WCW. He did it a lot in TNA. Every iteration of his run in TNA, we had impersonator gimmicks. Do you think this was his first impersonator gimmick? And you think this one made him go, oh man, bro, this is good shit, bro?
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. Has this not been done before?
I mean, I'm sure it has, bro, but I mean, the only thing he ever watched was WWF, and he was technically in the company, I think, at this point. I think he's writing for the magazine at this point. Bro.
Has his video store already failed?
I believe this is post first video store and pre second video store.
How bad did you have to be at business to not be able to run a video store in the 90s?
The only way that you didn't run a video store in the 90s is if you were like 7 years old.
Yeah.
But all right, so enough with Vince Russo, bro. Let's go to the dirty white boy who is out in the woods getting ready to cut a promo about Jake the Snake Roberts.
Problems. Got to think things out. Here's where I come to. It's peaceful, quiet, nobody around, nothing to bother you. You can just sit and think. I've been doing a lot of thinking, because right now Got a whole lot of problems. Goes by the name of Jake the Snake Roberts. You know, Jake, never, ever in my life begged anyone. I've never begged for nothing. I've never begged anyone, man, woman, or child. But you made me beg, Jake. Oh, you had a bird's eye view of it. You heard me plain as day. Me begging you. DDT me. Not my wife. But you know, it's just like a snake. You went ahead and did it anyway. You know, white girl, she's gonna get better. But you see, Jake, you took something from me. My self-respect. You know, I can't even look my wife in the eye. I've been out here for, I guess, better part of the day. I was just sitting here thinking and heard a racket and looked down and old black snake come crawling by a couple of feet from me. Now see, if you don't go head on at a snake, the snake won't bite you. But if you try to attack that snake or you try to go head on to him, one or two things are going to happen. He's either going to bite you or he's going to slither away. But then that's when everything started coming clear. It's when it all started coming back together. I started thinking, it started coming into place. You like to play mind games, Jake. That's good. So let's play mind games. See, I watched that old snake for a while. And finally at last, you know what I did, Jake? You don't know what I did? I eased up from behind the snake. And I reached right down and real quick, boom, right behind the head. I had the snake. Snake couldn't do anything. It was mine. It was the snake was at my mercy. That the only way I'm going to get my self-esteem back, the only way that I'm going to be able to hold my head up high and face my wife and look her right in the eye, and for her to think that this is truly the man that I married, is I'm going to have to play games. I'm going to have to start acting like a snake. From the side, from behind. Do you know where I'm coming from, Jake? I'm sure you do. So I tell you what, Jake. From this point on, you get ready. You want to play games? We'll play games.
All right. So tell me, Trae, are you waiting for someone to say, you want to play 21? I got 22?
I noticed something here. This looked a lot like Central Park. You remember?
I didn't think about Central Park. I thought it looked a lot like Steve Armstrong was about to come out from behind a bush and make a weird face.
Well, it looked just like Central Park when the Dirty White Boy was cutting promos there in his Yankees jersey last year.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we were never told they ever moved back.
That's true. That's true. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's the whole big problem with the Mr. Ron Wright story with Tammy Fitch and, whatnot, was like they were bringing him home to Tennessee, and White Boy's like, no, we live in New York City. And, but
Yeah. They probably have a lease that they're waiting to finish.
Now, do you think Pam signed off on paying the rent for the lease like she did Kevin Sullivan's psychiatric bills?
I feel like if they had done that, we'd have heard Bob Armstrong complain about it by now.
Well, I don't know what costs more, rent in New York City in the mid '90s or therapy, especially when you're getting it 7 days a week like Kevin Sullivan was.
Well, Kevin Sullivan probably needed 7 days of therapy a week.
And Bob Armstrong took that away from him. Maybe that was actually a good thing because now Kevin Sullivan is WCW World Tag Team Champion with Cactus Jack.
Yeah, it worked.
Although he does think his brother is the equalizer, so I don't know. I actually wrote Dirty White Boy is in the woods where they taped the Armstrong's Army promos. Now, far be it from me to compare Smoky Mountain Wrestling to TNA, but earlier this year, there was like what felt like 2 months where every week on TNA, some woman was getting her ass kicked. Like Mickie James was getting her ass kicked constantly. Trinity would be hit with chairs. Tracy Brooks would be laid out by men. And specifically, it was always being laid out by men. Like Mickie James was getting her ass kicked on a near weekly basis. Like Jeff Jarrett was concussing her with chairs on the regular and all this shit. And nobody gave a fuck because A, they were happening multiple times on a show, and B, the offended parties would be back the next week like nothing happened. White Girl got a DDT, and White Girl is a trained wrestler. And White Girl took a DDT 3 weeks ago, and not only is she not back, we're questioning whether or not she'll ever forgive White Boy. We're questioning whether or not their relationship will ever be the same.
Well, no.
It's like
no. You gotta think of the promo a couple of weeks ago. She already forgave him. It's just this is pressure that he's putting on himself.
Fine. My point is this is still a thing. This is still like important to a story. This is the difference between, giving the Dirty White Girl a DDT one time and braining Mickie James with a chair 2 or 3 times a week.
Jake Roberts is better at DDTing people than Jeff Jarrett is at swinging chairs.
Well, let's just sum it up to Jim Cornette is a better booker than Vince Russo.
What a fucking revelation.
I know, right? Yeah. So I'm really liking these serious white boy promos. And we've been getting a few of them lately.
I liked it better when he was angrier.
I think he's going to get angry soon enough. But it's like, he's being angry all the goddamn time. So it's like, if you're angry all the time, you're never angry. So at least this time it's like he's quiet and he's thoughtful and whatnot. And so when he's angry again, it'll be a big deal again. And I'm sure he'll be angry in like 2 weeks. But, especially in 2 weeks when he no longer has an opponent to be wrestling. But for now, let's go back to the desk where Bob Caudle is being joined by Baldy.
Hi, fans. Here he is, Jake the Snake Roberts, and I can't believe a giant of a man, a giant in the business of professional wrestling, a DDT on a little lady, the Dirty White Girl.
Wait a minute. You got to understand one thing. Once you step into the ring, you are fair game. The only person that's safe in that ring, and not all the time, is the referee. This says it all. This is what they respect. This is what everybody wants. This is what I have. Now, if you want to get down to brass tacks, I know Tony's saying things like, I'll play your game. Tony, if it's a battle of wits, I would be fighting an unarmed man. Wow. Because let me tell you something. When it comes to turning screws on somebody or putting a finger behind somebody or putting a gun to somebody's head, that's exactly what I'll do. You see, when you're born into this life, you have a decision to make right off the bat. Do you want to walk with the man that gave us the book, or do you want to run with the devil? Now, everybody says that if you follow the man with the book, that you have eternal life.
Right.
That you have a place to go when this life is over, when you're back to dirt. That may be true. But you see, when you run with the devil, it's instant gratification.
Oh, Jake.
You get what you want when you want it.
No.
You get to feel good when you want to feel good. But you see, when you also choose to run with the devil, you got to be ready to take that extra step no matter when it is or what it is. You got to stay one up on the game. So in other words, you got to be willing to sacrifice anything just to play the game with somebody else's mind. Now, Tony, you want to play a game with me? You want to come play with the snake? Huh? You want to play with the snake? You want to know how far I'll go just to twist your mind? Let me show you something just for you. Huh?
Whoa.
A little different?
Where's that?
A little different? That just goes to show you what I'm willing to do to mess with your mind, because now you got to think about something. My hair's gone.
Wow.
Your hair's almost gone anyway, but I will take the rest of it. And after all, I've already done your wife, man. So what would I do to you? What would I do to you? Yes, I would be the first in line to spit on your grave, except I don't like long lines. That's what I'll do. You want to play a game? Come play with the snake. But be careful, because you will get bit.
All right, fans, he's talking straight to the dirty white boy, and that's the message from Jake the Snake.
Okay. Let's just say this. If his mouth did not open and words did not come out of his mouth, I would not have believed this was Jake Roberts. This looked absolutely nothing like Jake Roberts. This was a bald man with a goatee.
Who apparently can't even tolerate a long line if he's at the front of the line.
Yes.
Based on everything I had ever heard, I thought that Jake was a fan of long lines.
Wow. And we can't be sued for this one. That one's based on true fact.
I saw Beyond the Mat.
Really? But yeah, he looks so weird bald.
Jake Roberts bald.
Legitimately, I don't think I'd ever seen him bald. Like, I knew he lost his hair in that match, but I never really went and looked at a picture of him.
I bet that this is like the only time he was on TV with a bald head.
Probably. And then, like I said, he grew in his goatee. So it wasn't even just the mustache, you know? And like the whole look just was, this was not Jake Roberts. It's Jake Roberts, but it's not Jake Roberts.
Yeah, that's what happens when you lose a hair match.
Yeah. Well, fucking A. Well, I guess Raven lost about 6 inches of his scalp too, but like Raven's been on TV and looks exactly the same, just with less hair and less scalp.
I think you're just used to it, and you've never seen Jake Roberts without hair before.
True that. True that. All right, so you go to the ring for the Pride of Monte County, Texas, Jake Roberts versus James Atkins. Now, earlier this week on World Class, Jake Roberts was from Louisiana, and on Mid-South, he was from Monte County, Texas. This week on Smoky Mountain, he was from Louisiana. So I guess World Class had it right all along.
I don't remember. Did they say Montague County? I just remember them saying Texas.
They did. They said Monte County, Texas. And I threw in the pride of, because that's, Johnny Mantel.
Are you
But
sure you're not just confusing that with the Johnny Mantel announcement?
I'm pretty sure since
Okay.
Johnny Mantel wasn't on Mid South this week, was he?
He's been on here recently though. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you're probably I believe you, I guess.
Um, so they announce here that Jake will defend the title during Summer Blast against the Dirty White Boy in a cage.
Was it gonna
I have my doubts about that one.
was it gonna be that
Yeah.
crappy wooden cage?
Oh yeah, it would have been the crappy wooden cage. Um,
Maybe maybe
it,
maybe that's why Jake left. He saw the cage and didn't want to be part of such a Mickey Mouse organization.
there you go. Um, I don't know how I didn't notice this during the first match because I did go back and just to double check it. But the ring mat was all messed up. It had tape all over it, black electrical tape.
Oh
And
dear.
yeah, I didn't notice it during the Thrillseekers match, but I really noticed it here for some reason. Um, so during this match, Jake teased the DDT and let go and looked towards the entryway. And I started writing, and this is where Dirty White Boy came out, but Dirty White Boy did not come out. And then Jake just won with the DDT.
James Atkins did not get the upset here.
Nope, he's not gonna become the linear Smoky Mountain champion. Um, I wrote here maybe Jake wants to take James Atkins under his wing like John Moxley did with Shota Umino.
Wouldn't that be
But
terrific?
before I could really type all that out, Jake waved to the back, and out came Kendo the Samurai, and specifically Kendo the Samurai with a snake. And I had to mark out here because an old lady was yelling at Kendo, just really giving Kendo the business. And
Yes,
I
he
was like,
was.
man, I you gotta love old ladies in wrestling. Um, but then and then we're getting multiple impersonator gimmicks in wrestling at the same time because Kendo refuses to give Jake the snake. And then out came the dirty white boy who put his arm around Kendo's shoulders. And Jake flees to the back because somehow he just knew this wasn't right. And he flees to the back to discover a different Kendo the Samurai locked behind a cage door. Somehow, Jake saw the Kendo the Samurai that came out and gave the snake to White Boy and realized, oh my God, there are two Kendo the Samurais.
Jake should have gotten one of the Rock and Roll Express to be Kendo the Samurai. I hear they'll give the snake to anybody.
God. So we go to the ring and we have a four-way brawl. Kendo gives Kendo the twisted bliss as Jake leaves. And I thought that one of these two Kendo the Samurais should wear a purple stripe on their gear.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
I'll be honest, I knew the Kendo the Samurai gimmick was coming. I did not know this, the twin Kendo the Samurais. Who
Yeah,
was the
no.
I don't even know who the other one was because I know one is Bobby Blaze because Bobby Blaze is, I believe, the new official Kendo the Samurai because Horner's gone. I don't know who the other one would have been.
It was somebody smaller and thinner than Bobby Blaze.
Yeah. Who knows?
Probably one of the job guys. But
maybe it was Lance.
No, Lance is bigger than that.
Okay.
I think.
Well, I'll have to ask Lance. Hey, Lance, have you ever Kendo the Samurai? He's a very serious man, you know. He might.
Well,
I I did have to laugh a few years ago when Joe Hendry was teaming with Yuya Uemura in Impact. They were called Joya and had a theme call about being Joya. And so I tweeted Lance and I asked him to give me a Joe-ya. And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Like, okay, Lance. I'm just, you know.
Was this when he was an agent for TNA?
Yes, like he is right now.
Why is Kendo the Samurai dressed like a stereotypical ninja and not at all like a stereotypical samurai?
Why was the Yeti dressed like a mummy? And then dressed like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat?
Maybe he was found in the pyramid next door to Prince Karis.
There you go. Whatchamacallit, when Daryl Van Horn went to find to raise Prince Karis, he accidentally raised two mummies and just didn't know about it. Anyway, after that last angle, we're gonna go to Bob, who's with Dirty White Boy and Kendo A Samurai.
Right now here is a Dirty White Boy and his samurai Kendo, I guess. We got twins. What the heck is going on here, White Boy?
Jake, let the games begin. You know, you come out here and you said back of this, you said, Tony, I want you at 100%, no excuses. Well, there's a lot of things coming up, and guess what? I am 100%. Don't need it no more, baby. Eyeball to eyeball. Just the way I like it. You want to play some games, Jake? Well, it's Summer Blast in a cage. Nobody can come in and bring your little snake. But one thing about it, Jake, you can't leave. There's no running, no hiding. I owe you something. And I planned on collecting. That's enough.
All right, fans, there it is, the Dirty White Boy. He seems primed and ready to play the mind game with Jake the Snake.
Hey, it's been a month. White Boy's finally got the Palmolive out of his eye.
Well, it's hard to find one of those chemical eye flush stations.
Indeed. I mean, although I don't know, they go to a lot of elementary and middle schools and high schools. You would think, there'd be a science lab somewhere.
Yeah, I think.
All right. Well, White Boy no longer needs the eye patch, and he's looking forward to a cage match with Jake the Snake Roberts. And I think even the shitty Smoky Mountain cage, like those holes are still big enough for a snake to slither through. So I don't think White Boy is as guaranteed to be in the ring with Jake as he thinks he is.
You don't think that White Boy and Jake are going to get in the ring again?
I think, of course, they're scheduled to, but Jake can just slither through the cage and slink to the back, slink back to Louisiana.
I mean, that shitty cage, you can just push it over, probably.
Boy. Do you think the Mongolians build the shitty cage?
Every time Mongolians build a cage, goddamn Chinaman goddamn it, I did that backwards.
I said it backwards. Yeah.
I did that backwards.
It's not the only time on this show I wrote that backwards, by the way.
Goddamn Mongolians.
Yes. You build my shitty cage. You knocked out my shitty cage. Oh, Lord. All right. So after that, because this is Promo Mania this week, I don't know what's up with these Smoky Mountain shows lately. We've been getting 3 matches and a crap ton of promos. Although I guess when we go through some of these matches, it's like we're not begging for more. But,
have you seen the talent that's in the territory right now? It is thin on the ground.
That is true. The talent cutting promos are much, much better than the talent actually in the ring. But with that, let's go to the Armstrongs to cut a promo about their upcoming opponents at Summer Blast, the Funks.
And Scott, Steve, Bob Armstrong. Bob, we just said you really got your problem. Maybe it'll all end and all come to a head at Summer Blast.
Well, the thing about it is everybody is talking about Summer Blast. Everybody's talking about my problems with the Funks. And I know that Jim Cornette's behind this. He keeps screaming, why don't you give up that commissioner's chair? You're a coward. Well, who's the real coward? Every time I put in for reinstatement for a wrestler's license, he comes in with injunctions saying conflict of interest. He can't wrestle and be the commissioner. So he reached way down in his pocket and hired the Funk family. Well, I didn't have to pay a penny, brother, because I got the Armstrong family, and they blood, if you know what I mean. Now, let me tell you this. The Funks may be wrestling for money at Summer Blast, but we wrestling for family pride, brother, and that goes a lot longer. They thought Armstrong's Army was history. We just about to make history. And remember this, Funk boys, out in Texas, jackasses still can't run with race horses.
Okay. That's exactly right, brother. Truer words have never been spoken. You know, the Funk brothers, you got Dory Funk Jr., the man who has got the method in his mind. Dory Funk Jr., one of the best wrestlers, mat wrestlers in the history of wrestling. Well, I did a little amateur wrestling myself back in school days. When Terry Funk is the crazy one of the two. Oh, yeah. Well, brother, I got 6'2", 240 pounds of romping, stomping maniac as my little brother, my dang self.
That's right,
Steve.
Funk brothers. You know, we watched y'all. We respected y'all all the way from here all the way up until about 3 or 4 weeks ago when you did what you did to the Bullet. Well, that's our daddy. That's our dad. We've been calling him dad, and he's the only man that'll ever whip our booties. So, Funk brothers, you want to make this a family feud and stir it all up like the Hatfields and McCoys? Well, bring it on and do us one favor. Bring Jim Cornette so we can kick his butt.
Yeah! All right, Bob. Don't worry. If Jim Cornette's anywhere around, maybe I can't wrestle, but I can be at ringside, and I'll tell you this, during that Summer Blast that everybody's talking about, one of those times on the 3rd is going to be in Armstrong country, Marietta, Georgia, brother, and we'll be there romping and stomping, so bring it on, brother, bring it on.
All right, fans, Summer Blast, and right now, let's...
Okay, so apparently everybody is talking about Summer Blast. I don't know about you, Trae, but I know in Northeast Pennsylvania, where I lived in 1994, we were definitely talking about Summer Blast.
I mean, you and I are talking about Summer Blast in 2025. It must be a big deal.
I know, right? The only real summertime big event happening this summer. Not Heat Wave, not Bash at the Beach, not SummerSlam. Summer Blast, yo. And it's a Summer Blast tour. And as we find out in a few seconds, the 3rd annual Summer Blast Tour, not to be confused with the 2nd annual Thanksgiving Thunder Tour.
Which also took place in the summer, if I'm not mistaken.
See, I thought it was in like March or April.
Oh, well, it's the South, so it's pretty much summer already in March and April.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I was talking about Thanksgiving Thunder. I wasn't talking about Summer Blast. I thought Summer Blast was their big Christmas show.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So yeah. Apparently Bob brought in Scott and Steve to work for free. You know, and I guess like we said with the cage, it's not what you make, it's what you save. And so I guess if JC could get 2 Armstrongs for 0 pay, what the hell?
That's kind of shitty to make them work for free.
I agree, but apparently they were eager about it.
Well,
I know this is a 4-episode TV taping. I thought it was funny that Scott and Steve are out there in their gear, despite the fact that they do not have a match on this show.
Well, they could have been had their names down for a standby match that we didn't have time for.
That is true, and that does seem like something Scott and Steve would do.
Yeah.
Scott compared Steve to Terry Funk, and the best comparison I could make between the two of them is they are both professional wrestlers.
They both have older brothers and fathers who were wrestlers.
Yes. That is approximately the end of the comparisons between Steve Armstrong and Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Oh, both actually when was Lance Cassidy? Was that 92 or 93?
I'm not sure. Somewhere in there.
Okay. Well, it was 93. I get to say they were both allegedly in the WWF for 5 minutes in 1993. Although Steve's 5 minutes were longer than Terry's 5 minutes. Terry ended up with a sick horse. Weird how that worked out.
You got to take care of your horse. You think it was the same horse that farted Eddie Gilbert's breath in Terry's face?
I do not know. I don't know if it's the same horse that it would have been the same horse because they weren't in Amarillo, but the same horse that bucked Terry Funk during that match with Chris Candido.
Maybe
kick your ass, you horse.
Maybe that's what was wrong with the horse. That it had really bad gas, and then it was finally able to release it for that Eddie Gilbert promo.
I thought it was finally able to release the gas when it saw the match. The Hearts versus the Shawn Michaels and the Knights.
Yeah.
How do you have a match featuring Bret Hart, Owen Hart, and Shawn Michaels, and it's like one of the worst matches possible?
Because it had Bruce in it?
It did have Bruce and Keith and Greg Valentine and Jeff Gaylord and Barry Horowitz.
See, Jeff Gaylord must really be the shits.
Must be. Especially with when you read Bret's book, he's like, Bruce was putting together spots with him, complicated spots to run with Jeff Gaylord. Yeah. I think Bruce C, there's a reason Bruce C never got a break, and it wasn't just because he was a jerk.
Bruce always, anytime Bruce was on screen, he made himself the center of attention. Watch the WrestleMania match between Bret and Vince.
I was gonna say, watch the Canadian Stampede. It's like I forget if this was one of the times he was gonna get brought in, but they did the thing where Bruce threw the soda on Steve and let Austin believe it was Stu because Bruce is a dick apparently. And Bruce jumps the guardrail and is hammer fisting Steve in the kidneys, and it's like, you motherfucker. It's like, mind you, I don't know how else he would play it, but it was because they showed Patterson talking about it before the show. That's oh, Bruce is going to throw the drink, but Austin is supposed to think Stu did it. It's like, Bruce looks like such a dick. Yeah, I threw a drink on you, but yeah, my dad did it. My 80-year-old dad,
Yeah, well, Bruce does seem like a dick.
He does. We got promos for Summer Blast 94, and I'll be honest, we talk about the Smoky Mountain production staff being top-notch here. They already had a commercial building up the matches that were booked earlier on this show, talking about the 6-person tag with Bambi, talking about the penalty boxes. Hell, they included a Terry Funk promo that we haven't even seen yet. That's how good they were.
Yeah, you can. It's amazing what you can do when you have all of the tape.
From here we go to a Night of the Legends update. Les has been taken away from Neyland Stadium, or I guess he was also at whatchamacallit, that town that I can never think of the way to pronounce it. Chilhowie Park he is at.
Chilhowie.
I also went to, yes. But anyway, at the show, at the Night of the Legends, will be the one-man gang, Ronnie Garvin. Now, for those of you who were with us since the beginning, they showed all the clips of Ronnie Garvin. They showed the first time Garvin was coming in, conveniently enough, at Summer Blast 92. They showed the clips with him beating Flair for the world title, the clips with him and Andre, all that stuff. I always laugh when Garvin won the NWA title, and I guess this was supposed to show that he was dreaming and trying to wake himself up. He stands up and begins hitting himself in the head.
Yeah, I'm glad you told me that because I was confused as to how the fuck did they get WCW footage? But it makes sense because if he got it in 92, that makes sense.
Well, I don't think it was. You know, I don't think WCW knew this footage was being aired. You know, like how
Oh.
ECW 1999 was airing Smoky Mountain footage when talking about Tammy Fitch. I don't think Jim Cornette knew about that, and I don't think Ted Turner knew about this, or Eric Bischoff to be more specific.
You don't believe that Ted Turner was an avid Smoky Mountain Wrestling viewer?
I I mean, I bet like he would be. I bet he probably would have enjoyed it more than the stuff on his own network. Like, there's that one TV taping where they have that Turner went to that time and sat in the crowd. I'm sure he was like, Eric, where's the dirty white boy at?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, my Ted Turner impression needs work. Um, Also at the Night of the Legends will be the Mongolian Stomper, who will be there not only building a shitty wall, but tearing it down too. And they announced our first match for Night of the Legends, kind of. It is Ronnie Garvin and the Mongolian Stomper versus Team TBD, to be determined.
X and X.
Yes. If it was Mexico, it'd be XYX, but it would be pronounced XEX.
It'd be Eki Eki.
And there is your Spanish learning for the day. Spanish learning. Let me see, because like I feel like, and I remember us looking at this up before. I thought like Stomper is like constantly around. I feel like maybe it's not till next year, but I seem to remember he's like here all the time, just not on TV.
There was like
Well,
randomly, like you like maybe I don't know 6 months, 8 months ago. We looked at some house show results, and there was a randomly like I think Brian Lee defended the Smoky Mountain title against the Mongolian Stomper.
yes, in Hazard, Kentucky, and Barberville, Kentucky.
That does sound like a hazard.
Yep, and he was last here in March, defeating Larry Santo in Morristown.
Oh,
But he
big
hasn't been on
win.
TV in a while. Um, I think you were here for this. His only TV match was against Kevin Sullivan back at the end of '92.
No, was not here yet.
Oh darn, man, oh man, Matty.
I think I got here in like February '93.
All right, now we've been talking about the legends that are coming in to be inducted into the Knoxville Hall of Fame. This week, they announced the first legend to be inducted into the Knoxville Wrestling Hall of Fame, and it is none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Jim White. No, seriously, Jim White. Jim White is best known as Jerry Lawler's first tag team partner. Like that's honestly,
Arya,
if
please tell me, what is Jim White second best known for?
I don't know. Why don't you tell us, Trae?
You said he was best known as being Jerry Lawler's first tag team partner. I want to know what else he's known for.
I meant more like if you're a modern day fan and know who Jim White is, it's because you know that he's Jerry Lawler's first tag team partner. That's about it.
Again,
somehow Les did not put himself over in this segment. He usually finds a way to put himself over, but he didn't this time.
There's always next week.
Yeah,
you can't steal Jim White's thunder.
That's true. Hey, maybe he might be inducting himself into the Knoxville Wrestling Hall of Fame. Les.
By the way, you know where that phrase "steal my thunder" came from?
Eric Bischoff said it to Vince McMahon in 2001.
I was like, there's a really cool etymology podcast called Words Unraveled that I like, and I just happened to be listening to it earlier today, and they mentioned it was some other playwright in William Shakespeare's time that like whatever he had figured out a way to make the sound of thunder for the play. And then, like, he was mad because his play had just been canceled, and he went to one of Shakespeare's plays where they did his thunder sound trick, and he said, "Oh, they canceled my play, but they stole my thunder."
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you know, who, you know, God damn it, I can't figure out how to say this right. Um, you know who was the first to steal my sunshine, right?
Hold on. I feel like there's
The Canadian alt rock band Glen.
Glenn.
Glen, Len.
Glenn. Okay. So it wasn't Jimmy Garvin.
Nope. This was Len. And there's like two people out there who now mad at me because they got that song stuck in their heads. Well, to make it up for you, we're gonna pitch it to a Terry Funk promo. So you're welcome, people. Let's go to a Terry Funk promo.
All right, fans, here they are, Bruiser Bedlam and Jim Cornette. We just heard from the Armstrong, and we saw the Armstrong family out here, and I know you heard from them.
Oh, I'll tell you what, before I say anything, I want to hear a few words from a real man. One of the famous Funk family from Amarillo, Texas. Listen to these words from Terry Funk, and then I got a few things to say.
Watch it, fans.
Hello. I'm Terry Funk, and I want to teach you stupid, overbearing, idiotic, foolish, fatherless people, which is about 99.9% of what Tennessee is. I want to teach you something that can be useful to you. I want to teach you the difference between higher and higher education. Now, the first higher is Higher. Higher. Now, that is non-existent in Tennessee because of families like the Armstrong family. And what is so unusual about the Armstrong family? Absolutely nothing. Because they are toothless, they are overbearing, they have no mentality, and like father, like mother, like son, like daughter, like the entire family, their father says to them, "Children, let's quit school just because we're 18 and we need to be volunteers. We're from this area. We have to be volunteers." So they quit the 5th grade. Is that the way to do things? No. Now let's talk about the other higher. I'm talking about Hire. Hire. Jim Cornette has hired myself and my brother to come to Tennessee and take care of a situation. And what the situation is a fool running rampant. I'm talking about Bob Armstrong and his children being the commissioner when all he is a total coward. All they want to do is take advantage of everyone down there. Well, we are going to show you one thing, that man is yellow like a banana.
All right, and there it is. Those are the words right out of the mouth.
Sorry, my mouse was being wacky there. Terry Funk.
Like a banana.
Yes. And I was like, and because the Armstrongs are all white, you can't even make a racist comment about it. I love that, like, he's standing in front of a blue screen and like you could kind of see the thought process, like, oh, we'll blue screen something in the back, but then he's wearing his blue cape. Not really a cape, but
a poncho.
Like his poncho, yes. His blue poncho. It's like I would have loved them to put like something on the blue screen just so you could see right through Terry Funk, but alas.
That would have been great.
Okay, when I watched this the first time, I didn't catch on to what he said. But he's like, oh, when you're 17 or 18, you drop out of school because you got to go get a job. You got to go volunteer. And like seconds later, he says, so you drop out of the 5th grade. And I'm like, I just caught that. And hey, Terry Funk was a nice enough young man right here, or older man, teaching us the difference between words. higher and higher. That was so nice. How often do you ever watch a wrestling show and get edumacated?
Back when Edge used to do that leg hold, the educator.
Yes. Remember when he used to do the Edge-o-matic?
Yeah, he did that for a long time.
Yes, yes. By the way, I'm not watching Dynamite right now, so I don't have any breaking news. I can tell you all about what's going on in the basketball game, which I know you care deeply about. But
I can tell you what's going on with Astro Peach on my desk. He's sleeping very cutely.
I was gonna say, what's going on with Astro Peach on your desk?
He's just adorable, and he's my little man.
Sounds good. All right. So after Terry Funk finished, we went back to Jim Cornette with Big Bruiser Bedlam, and they have something to say as well.
The Terry Funk.
You know, Armstrong family, I can't wait for this because Terry and Dory Funk, two legitimate legends in the world of professional wrestling, are going to be taking on Scott and Steve Armstrong. They're fighting their daddy's fight again, of course, since he's such a coward. He says, I won't drop my complaint so he can become a wrestler and a commissioner. Well, of course not, because he's crooked. He's a crooked politician. Everybody knows Bob Armstrong is crooked. Well, let me just say this. I can't wait for Summer Blast to come, especially July 3rd in Marietta, Georgia, where the Armstrong family will get humiliated in their own hometown, right there at the Cobb Civic Center, by Terry and Dory Funk, two legitimate legends. And you know, the funniest man in America, James Gregory, he's going to be the special guest MC at the Cobb Civic Center on July 3rd. And I think it's apropos that a comedian should be right there in Marietta, because that's all they produce in Marietta is a bunch of jokes. Now, I want to talk about Tracy Smothers, my man Bruiser Bedlam right here. He is going to be involved in Summer Blast with Tracy Smothers in a dock fight match. Now, you know what the dock fight match is? Bruiser was telling me that up there in the unions on the docks in Detroit, when a couple of guys got a little problem with each other, when they can't settle things, then all the boys on the dock, they just back up and they let those two guys go at it with anything they can pick up, anything they got in their pocket, and they fight until it's settled. Nobody to stop it. And that's exactly what this is going to be, a dock fight match. Anything goes, fight to the finish. And Tracy Smothers, you're going to be in bad shape, because this is the world's most dangerous wrestler. But you know, when Bruiser was telling me about the dock fight, he told me about the way the unions operate. And I thought that was really neat. I thought it was really cool. A union protects the people that are in it. A union sees that fair play and justice prevail, even though these owners and operators and manipulators and commissioners are crooked. So we have decided to form a union. The union is in wrestling. A union. That's right, Wade. A union. It's going to be called Fight. The Federation of International Thugs and Eliminators. And Bruiser Bedlam is going to be the senior official. I, of course, I'm going to be the boss of the whole thing. But you know, Bruiser was telling me that all unions need muscle. They need an enforcer. They need a muscle man, a hired thug. They need somebody like a leg breaker to take care of everything. Well, we have in our employ now in the union called Fight, the biggest, the baddest, and roughest and toughest guy that you've ever seen. Sure, you've seen him before, but you've never seen him like this. Killer Kyle. Brother, this man's the enforcer of the union. Anybody that crosses me and Bruiser has first got to go past him. And he's one of the biggest and strongest men in wrestling. And then if you do, by any miracle, get past Killer Kyle, who, as you can see, is ready to go to work, then you got to take on the Bruiser. And brother, that's a 1-2 punch that's unbeatable. Just remember, when you fight with our union called Fight, if the right one don't get you, then the left one will.
Woo! All right, fans, don't go away. We're going to be back right after this.
Well, I guess Killer Kyle's given up his dream of finding a tag team partner.
I'm glad that he's found work again. I was concerned for him. He's got a good union job now.
Indeed, he does. They got him a new shirt and new pants too.
Well, you know, that's what unions can do for us.
They took away his violin case, though. I was disappointed.
You remember how the Soviet Union got Crusher Darso a pair of proper trunks finally?
Oh yes. Apparently, unions are big with clothes, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny as a Civil War historian. Whenever I try to type union on my phone, it wants to capitalize it.
Well, this is the Federation of International Thugs and Eliminators, and so while they haven't announced it, I'm assuming that Tracy Smothers, White Boy, John Cronus, and Perry Saturn have all signed up.
Fucking Dream Survivor Series team and Smoke Circle, actually.
I did have to laugh. I did have to laugh that on a group with Bruiser Bedlam, Cornette had to go out and find someone else to be a leg breaker.
Well, no. Bruiser Bedlam already has an administrative position in the union. He can't be breaking legs. That's why they had to find Killer Kyle. It wasn't because Bruiser Bedlam can't break legs. It's because he's that kind of work is beneath a manifestation.
I guess, but he's gonna have a dock fight. Now, when they announced this during the commercial break earlier, I thought they were saying dog fight. I'm like, that's a weird ass fucking gimmick match to be having, a dog fight. But no, it's a dock fight.
Didn't Al Snow and the Big Boss Man have a dog fight?
They had the Kennel from Hell match. You know, in case I was looking too forward to 1999 in my book series. Honestly, like I don't want to say actually, I'm just gonna say it. 1999 is one of the most overrated years in wrestling history. Like one of the most popular, like, but it's like yeah, and it's like WWF had like nobody out of the top two matches on the show, and then WCW was like they'd given up on putting their wrestlers in good matches.
This is the state of pro wrestling in 1999. The main event of WrestleMania was about 3.5 stars.
Yeah. It's like, and we tell you it's Steve Austin versus The Rock, and people are probably like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, no, it's about a 3.5 star match. You know, they have better.
It's not a bad match. It's the WrestleMania 17 match is like actually one of my favorite matches.
Yeah. Or WCW put Rey Mysterio Jr. in feuds during this year with Kevin Nash, Bam Bam Bigelow, and Barry Windham and Kendall Windham. Like very, very large men versus Rey Mysterio Jr.
What if like Rey Mysterio booked himself in a match against like Kevin Nash, but then he brought out the Great Khali in his Rey Mysterio mask?
That would not be an improvement, but it would be it would be a little more intriguing, we'll say.
It would not be an improvement in any way, shape, or form.
No. However, I will say I did once buy a WWE pay-per-view for Big Show versus the Great Khali. And like they were like the second match on the show. Let's see here. So yeah, the Federation of International Thugs and Eliminators. It is I mean I guess like Cornette needs new people because like I don't say he's floundering, but like, you know, ever since Heavenly Bodies left, he's only had Bruiser Bedlam. So we're gonna shove some people under him. So
phrasing.
By the way, do you think Vince knows that Cornette just formed a union?
I can't imagine that he would abide for such a thing if he did. I don't know. Vince formed a union in 1999. He even joined it.
He didn't join the union, but he was.
Wasn't he like part of it for? I don't know. He did fucking something with them that he was like a part of it for a segment or something.
I was about to say he's the one that let them all do whatever they wanted one episode, but that was Shawn Michaels. Because that's how everyone asked for a match. Like Mankind took on Triple H, and the Big Show took on Boss Man, I think. and like Test calls out Stephanie McMahon. It's like,
well,
and that's how that relationship began.
Call out somebody you can beat, I guess.
I don't know. Stephanie's slaps are pretty wicked.
It's true. It's true.
So then we go, like, in case you forgot about the wrestling on this show, we go to our main event, which started with very little time left on the show. It is the Beat the Champ television champion Kendo The Samurai versus Tracy Smothers. We cannot prove that this is the correct Kendo. I literally wrote, maybe Tracy paid off White Boy to send White Boy's Kendo to the ring. Tracy hit a belly-to-belly suplex. He did, whatchamacallit, actually, Kendo missed a swanton bomb. Tracy got out the 3-point stance that he debuted last week. Kendo did something so poorly that we saw an ugly child. And suddenly Kendo was suddenly replaced by Ken 2. And Tracy had to have been in on this because, like, Ken 2 gets in the ring and Tracy immediately gives him a small package for the pin, and then they just get up and leave the ring together.
What was wrong with that child's appearance? It was just like a little fucking 6-year-old boy. How was he ugly?
That was an ugly child.
Also, I think sometimes they just show a crowd shot. Like, I don't think it's a botch every time. Oh, I forgot to mention, did you notice there was a fucking, like, a very, like, if you were just listening and not watching, you might not even notice there was a jump cut during the Thrillseekers promo?
Yes, there was. I thought there were two, actually. One when the Thrillseekers were talking, one when Well Done was.
I noticed the one when the Thrillseekers were talking.
Well, Tracy is once again the Beat the Champ TV champion. So we'll see if he's able to run the table and retire as champion again.
He has not retired as champion yet.
That is true. Maybe he'll finally retire as champion.
Yeah, he lost it to the Equalizer, or not the Equalizer. Fuck, what was Brian Clark's name here?
The Night Stalker.
The Night Stalker. The Night Stalker. I think that was like my first episode, and then he lost it to Candido the other time.
Oh Lord, I like that you confused Brian Clark with Dave Sullivan.
I'm not sure who that's an insult to.
I would say Brian Clark.
Yeah, it's true.
He was moderately competent.
As we have established, I was a chronic mark as a young man.
Yeah, they were great. Like, you know, I'm sorry. Like, Chronic was great. The Bryans were fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, 125 down, 75 to go. We are officially 62.5% of the way through this podcasting series.
What happens if we add Kurt Angle to the mix?
Then our odds of finishing drastically go down.
Go down.
Yes. Now, before we finish up, we always like to tell you what else has happened in the world of wrestling. So, because I can tell you, June 18th, 1994, until I'm blue in the face, but this gives you some context. And you know something? I'm tired of talking. So I'm going to play a clip, and this will tell you what happened this week in wrestling, or at least one of the things that happened this week in wrestling.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Gorilla Monsoon, along with the Macho Man Randy and Baltimore's own football legend, NFL Hall of Famer, Art O'Donnell, and Randy Macho Man Savage. Art, let me ask you, Art Donovan, what a superstar you are here in the Baltimore area. We're going to have a new king crowned here tonight, Art. Who do you think that's going to be? Razor Ramon.
Yes. King of the Ring 94 was this weekend with good old Art O'Donnell on commentary.
Was that the how much does this fella weigh guy?
Yes. And for an example of that,
How much does that guy weigh? 500 pounds plus, Art.
Well, that's not fair. The only fellow only weighs half the amount.
Oh, fantastic. Where did you find the drops for the drop board? Is there a drop zone?
A lot of the stuff I just grabbed from YouTube and then shrunk it down with Audacity.
Okay. Well, that's good.
So, some of the stuff like the Art O'Donnell clip, I stole from the Wrestle Crap induction for Art O'Donnell or Art Donovan.
There you go.
Yes. Well, like the I'm Stooge, that was YouTube. Or like stuff I had sitting on my computer, like and
it ain't that fucking hard, guys. We ain't building a rocket. We're getting guys over in a fake fucking business.
Yeah.
Oh, tremendous.
Yes. Now I mentioned this last week, I think, or if not on this show, I mentioned it recently. WCW did a fuck up this week. So, pro wrestling back in the day, in case you didn't know, Smoky Mountain is not the only territory that would tape their shows in advance. And WCW, of course, being one of them. But they had two big live events coming up. One, it was the Clash of the Champions, which is this coming Thursday night, main evented by Ric Flair versus Sting to unify the WCW and the WCW International World titles. And one is next month's Bash at the Beach. Now, whomever put together the editing for this week's shows, and I went back to check, Saturday night was proper, Worldwide was proper, but WCW main event featured a Bash at the Beach Control Center 4 days before Clash of the Champions, telling you that this past Thursday at the Clash of the Champions, Ric Flair beat Sting, and now Hulk Hogan wants to wrestle him.
Oh. LOL TNA.
Yeah, they done fucked up. And I mean, Dave even talks about, like, if this was Bill Watts, he would have threw out months of booking just to prove that wrestling was real because of this fuck up.
Would he though? Or would he have gotten a bugbear about something really stupid while letting a bunch of equally stupid shit just go?
I think if this would have happened, he would have done something about it. I don't think he would have let this one go, even if it was to just rip on everything else. By the way, King of the Ring, in case you didn't know, Owen Hart became the 1994 King of the Ring, which was to give him a little bit more heat to build into the next series of matches with Brett. And elsewhere on the show, Brett defended the WWF title against Intercontinental Champion Diesel, and the story was to combat Shawn Michaels, Brett was going to have a family member in his corner. And do you remember who that family member was?
Neidhart?
Yeah, it was Neidhart. It was the first time they ever acknowledged on TV that Neidhart had married into the family.
Oh, that's right.
And so the finish of the match, and this was like the first of the long-term 3-match series with Brett and Diesel, where there were no conclusive finishes at first. Diesel gave Brett the power bomb, and Neidhart ran in and gave Diesel a clothesline for the disqualification, and then ran off. And then Diesel and Shawn beat up Brett, and it led to the conjecture: could Brett have kicked out of the power bomb? We will never know. And then Neidhart, that plan came into account later because he helped Owen win King of the Ring. And then it was like, he was there to help Brett keep the title so Owen could then beat Brett for the title.
Yeah, because if he was really trying to do damage, he would have put Diesel in the Anvilizer, the submission hold that Neidhart made famous all over the world.
Yes, of course. And it's funny because, like, when I whine these days about stuff like this happening, people are like, "Oh man, can't you just sit back and enjoy it?" It's like 1994 WWF is not peak WWF. but even they were smart enough to know this. And you see this a lot where people turn heel, but you turn heel by costing this guy a championship. So instead of making it so now you're getting shots at the championship, you have cost this other guy his championship. Like, Neidhart did not cost Bret the title. He let Bret get his ass kicked and then made sure Bret kept the belt.
I mean, that actually makes fucking sense. That's why we say shit when stuff is stupid, because it doesn't have to be fucking stupid.
Yep. By the way, the main event of that show, Roddy Piper versus Jerry Lawler, and one of the matches that definitely ended a pay-per-view. But the funny thing about that was before that match, Todd Pettensmell was interviewing the governor of Maryland, and the guy on the WWF TV said that he was a big Hulk Hogan fan. Oh, Lord. And then, like, Lawler comes out, and they're calling him Governor Budweiser and all this other shit. And
wow.
Oh, boy. Yep. So, anywho, that's pretty much it for Smoky Mountain this week. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I don't guess. Do I need to start preparing a conversation topic for the pop quiz at the end of the show?
I mean, if you liked, I mean, you could have something in your mind.
Can we talk about Astro Peach's toe beans? He has the cutest little pink toe beans.
Aw, that's cute. Oh, by the way, while I was scanning through the Observer, and I sent this to Trae, but I might as well share it on the show. In the Observer this week, Dave mentions that Smoky Mountain wants to alert readers to please be patient when it comes to merchandise orders, particularly videotapes. Merchandising was left in a mess, and they have restructured it and are trying to straighten out the mess. And the person in charge of merchandise was Horner.
Now, how much longer does Pam last? Because we still got the Pam Chiron.
Night of the Legends, because that's when right. Yeah, that's when she's throwing shirts out to the crowd and they knock over the lighting rig. which is then followed by Casey O'Connor's car incident.
What a weekend.
Well, that wasn't the same weekend. I think that was like a month later.
What a month.
But yeah. Needless to say, Jim does not have the best summer. I wonder what Pam did with all the Fan Week money, you think?
Probably had to get a new place to fuck Horner.
There you go. I mean, you think Horner's wife and Pam's boyfriend hooked up at any point?
I hope so, for their sake.
Hey, for all we know, this was a very open relationship between the four of them.
That's true. That's true.
By the way, before we go, one last little drop from the drop board. And you might recall I tried to lead you into saying something last week on Facebook and you didn't catch on. So here, in case you remember, this is what I was trying to lead you into setting me up for.
Hey, Moses, where's my car, man? Space 22, man. 22. 22! Oh, man! Oh, man! Where are you? Why me? Why me? Why me?
I tried to set you up for that, but yes, Sid, poor Sid. He tried to get Goldberg's car crushed.
It's how I feel all the time.
Well, we made it to the end of another fun program, Trae. And we made it to the end of another week of programs.
But, boy, did we. We survived another one.
Indeed. And hey, I survived TNA too. So, I mean, if I really want to torture you, in like 3 weeks, I'll have you watch TNA, which, by the way, in 3 weeks, I need you to watch TNA.
Damn it.
But that's going to do it for this week's show. Well, thank everyone for listening. I hope you all did enjoy the show, and we'll talk to you again in 7 days.
Bye.